pretty darn hot out already. Current time 5 a.m. Once that sun peeks its head over that horizon again, we are in for it. I mean, it is just going to be so ridiculously hot. Current temperature 3:45 a.m. 76 degrees. Today sunny with a high of 115. Oh my gosh. Excessive heat warning remains in effect until 11 p.m. Monday. Dangerously hot temperatures of 110 to 115. So Oregon has never seen that before. You'd think with these palm trees here behind me that I would be in Palm Springs. It's cooking already here. It's about 80 degrees at 5:30 a.m. We're gonna do a little creeping this morning before it gets too hot. Yesterday it was about 115, and like I said, at 5:30 a.m. we're pushing almost 80 degrees. So stay tuned. Before it gets too hot, we're gonna do a little creeping. Check out how nice people are. Somebody made this little cooler here and put ice cold water, please take some. So I did. Thank you very much for whoever did this. This was a very, very, very nice gesture. Thank you very much. All right, that's where we're going. We just gotta wait for traffic. And the sun is poking through that tree there. We're gonna go get a better look here in 1 second. Know when to hold 'em, know when to walk away. You never count your money while you're sitting at the table. If you guys know that song, then you're already one step ahead of me. Kreepers, what's up you guys? It is a scorcher. I decided to say heck it, get out extremely early. It's only about 5:30 a.m. I wanted to get here today to show you guys an iconic building, which is now a bank. We're gonna tell you guys more about it in a second. All right, so this is now a WAFed, which I believe is like a Washington, I think it's short for Washington Federal. And I'm kind of glad I got up early anyways, because I knew this was a bank, but I wasn't thinking, you know, I should probably get here before the bank opens, because they're gonna be like, why is this guy filming the bank? But this right here, this was the very first and only Kenny Rogers Roasters in Portland, Gresham, surrounding areas. We're in East County, Gresham right now. This was actually the very last store as well. Unfortunately, Kenny never visited here. And I think that was part of the demise for the Kenny Rogers Roasters. That's right. Right up top there would have been the signage. And at one point, the sign actually featured Kenny's face. And I believe years later, with legality issues and stuff, they changed that. He actually ended up working out a deal with them years later so that they could continue to use his name. But what makes this building, not only that it was the only Kenny Rogers Roasters and the last one really, the style of the building, you can see up on the roof there, it's got that weird, kind of like weird rooftop there with all the angles and pieces of the roof there with the kind of like billet style rooftop there. The reason why this was like that is because the original architect that was in charge of making all these designed most of the Kenny Rogers Roasters. In fact, Gary Guy Wilson Studios was the guy that created most of the architectural designs, and they all had this kind of cool looking pattern to the top. This one was a little different than the other ones, and they may have actually switched it up just a tad when they changed hands. But right here, this was Kenny Rogers Roasters, and on all four sides here you would have been able to see his face at one point. Another interesting thing about this building is all the awnings of the building itself a lot of the Kenny Rogers roasters featured these awnings. Back then they were like a striped black and red, maybe black and white pattern. But you can see they kept the awnings all the way around the building here. Pretty cool. So by Kenny not showing up to these places, and basically, you know, they would just use his pictures and his signature on the menus and things like that, but he never showed up. So that was part of a lot of the reasonings why the franchise holders thought that the restaurant wasn't going to make it originally. And they actually got sued by Cluckers. Cluckers International was another famous chicken restaurant. I believe their recipe was really similar, and they basically took Kenny and them to court, telling them that they couldn't use their style of roasting. They said they were the ones that kind of created that original style of roast, and that they basically were taking away from their patent on it. And so they took them to court and they lost, but Kenny ended up buying out parts of the shares, most of the shares, since he had so much money really, and basically forced them out of business to continue running the Kenny Rogers Roasters. But years later, he would do an appearance on the Conan O'Brien show, and they had him do like a little taste test of the chicken, and he actually picked, I believe it was like the NBC commissary chicken. They had 3 different kinds. They had NBC's chicken, Kenny Rogers Roasters chicken, and then I believe there was like a gas station chicken, and Kenny actually picked the NBC chicken. But you can see here they still have all the awnings wrapped around the bank, and that famous style roofing all the way around. Here's the driveway for the bank now, obviously, but this would have been where you would have pulled through and ordered, and you can see it's kind of still set up like an old fashioned drive-up window, even though this is now the bank. You can see here that, you know, some banks aren't, I believe they go into businesses that are already established into, you know, having drive-throughs and stuff for convenience for their guests and whatnot. But right here, this is the old Kenny Rogers. Pretty cool to think that this was one of the very last ones too. And like I said, Kenny never made any appearances. They asked him to come through and sign autographs, but he never really did. And now they actually are still in business. Kenny's name is still associated with them. They're actually a company out of Malaysia now, who were one of the big names that ended up helping Kenny buy out the main shares from Cluckers. So they actually are still operational, just overseas. So if you guys wanted to know what the heck ever happened to Kenny Rogers Roasters, they're now in Malaysia. But I actually remember eating here maybe once. My buddy Glenn, I think, worked here as well, and the chicken was good. It always reminds me of the famous Seinfeld episode too, where Kenny Rogers Roasters moves in and Kramer gets addicted to the chicken, and Jerry finally throws him out of business because he's tired of their, almost like that sunshine now, that incredibly bright light poking through from their neon signage. They always had like really bright red Kenny Rogers Roasters neon, but yeah, basically like that sun is now poking through for the scorching hot day it's going to be today. The neon sign on Seinfeld, that was such a funny one. There's not really any other remnants of the store other than like I said, the original architect work here, and then these awnings as well. Right over here where these 2 garbage cans are now, I believe this would have been the little you know, grease area, garbage area, and usually these are enclosed, but you can see there's like still like a little pad here of where it would have sat. And then also right over here, there's a couple more little relics of the past. So at one point, business was booming. You can see they had a pretty big parking lot for just one establishment. But right over here are basically the only two remaining relics from the Kenny Rogers Roasters. I actually walked by here the other day, and then it being so hot and it's like roasting out, I want some barbecue. I thought to myself, well, heck, roasters, whatever happened to Kenny Rogers Roasters? Right here is one of the original signages from the building. Here's where you would have entered, and it's got the red coloring, which would have been the Kenny Rogers Roasters. And then if you look over here, there's actually another one as well with the same coloring. Well, I guess this one's just white, but same style of box for the entrance. These would have been, oh, there we go. I could have sworn it was red. These would have been the original pieces to the restaurant right here. Good old Kenny Rogers Roasters. That's gonna do it for today. I gotta get home. It is just, it's almost unbearably hot. So I appreciate you guys very much for always tuning in and creeping with. But I gotta get home before this sun pokes its head up anymore. But right now, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, dang it, now I need some chicken. And I'm also glad I got in early to film this, because it is a functioning bank, and I didn't want them come up here at a different time and have them being like, what the heck is this weirdo doing filming our bank during the day? Is he gonna do a bank heist? Nope, just a little Kenny Rogers Roasters. Love you guys very much. Thanks for always tuning in and creeping with. Kenny Rogers Roasters. We'll miss you. Well, we've been missing you. Maybe I'll get over to Malaysia and get some chicken at some point. Creeper out for now. Oh, make sure you guys ring that bell. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. You can hit that little red subscribe button. That way when I go get Kenny Rogers Roasters, you guys will be the first to creep. Until next time, Creeper out for now. Peace.